Welcome to Dramatic Pause, a Rose Theater podcast. On today's episode, we'll be talking with Kathy Tyree, the director of the upcoming world premiere, Penguin Problems. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dramatic Pause, a Rose Theater podcast. And we are so excited because we have the director of Penguin Problems here with us today, Kathy Tyree. Miss Kathy, would you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what your experience is with the Rose.
I'm Kathy Tyree, and I am honored to be the director of Penguin Problems. I have been fortunate to do some work with the Rose in times past. Years ago, I played Grace and Annie. And then I have also been blessed to co-direct Young, Gifted, and Black for the past 2 years with Tyrone Beasley and Camille Matoyer Moten. And they've all been amazing experiences.
That is awesome. So for any of our listeners who might not know what Young, Gifted, and Black is, just so you know, it's part of our TNT, Teens and Theater series here at the Rose. It's totally free for teens to be a part of it. And it's really amazing. A lot of those young artists help devise the things that they do in those performances. And we have ones that are for Pride players, LGBTQ+, and we have one that was called Broken Mirror, which is dealing with what it's like to be a female identifying woman in today's society. And then Young, Gifted, and Black, of course. So that's very, very cool. Super awesome to have you now directing a show then. So can you tell me a little bit about where were we at when you got the call to direct this show? Were we pre-COVID or were we in it?
No, we were way pre-COVID when Matt reached out to me. And so I was really excited that the Rose was going to take on this challenge. And they've done it beautifully of moving forward with production because pretty much everything else I was slated to do got canceled, understandably. The Playhouse, we were going into rehearsals for The Color Purple. They tried to keep moving forward and it was just next to impossible. And so the Rose has done a really good job of taking a couple of steps back and saying, okay, here's the plan. They go to great lengths to take care of all of us in the rehearsal process. We're all in mask. We're all social distance. The room is deeply sanitized. If someone is just so much as not feeling well, we shut that rehearsal down until we figure out exactly how that person is doing and what they may be dealing with, and then we move forward. So it's been a very unique way of doing things, I gotta say.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely different than your status quo for any kind of theater show.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's awesome. You really ran over a lot of the things that have changed. I'd be interested in knowing, for you personally as a director, thinking about social distancing during the show, how has that changed how you approach, blocking and taking on this show?
Yeah, that was interesting as well because it is really important to maintain social distancing while on stage. And so just in the blocking, I'm just really making a good use of stage, a good use of the different levels. There are certain areas in the show where it's indicated that the actors are lumped together or falling on top of each other. All of those things we had to change. And we had to figure out a way to execute what the playwright was intending, but do it with completely different staging. And everyone has done a beautiful job of adapting to all of that. One of my biggest challenges as a director is I can't see their faces because we have to wear masks the entire time we're in rehearsal. And so it took me a minute to recognize that was a challenge that I wasn't accustomed to working with, right? And so I would give a director's note And they would look back at me because I'd go back to it. And I'd say, well, no, now I really need you to. And they'd be looking at me. Their eyes would be saying, I just did that. You asked me to do that. It was like, oh, I can't see your face. Okay. And so what we're working on, because the performance may have to be unmasked as well, depending on where we are at that time with our numbers here in Nebraska. And so we're really working on articulating the lines using your body, delivering the lines through movement and reacting with your body more so that the audience can receive what it is that you're trying to communicate. So yeah, it's been real different. It has been real different.
Sure. Yes. Sounds like a big challenge for you and the actors to really think about creating that art,
Yeah.
just in a slightly different way. You know, with more body involvement. So, but you've had, it sounds like you've had a pretty good cast. Someone they've been really ready to jump in and give these things a try.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just with the blocking, the choreography as well. You know, Sue Gillespie Bhutan is the choreographer. And she's had to deal with those same challenges. And she's done an excellent job of maintaining the social distancing, or when two ensemble members are in close proximity, it's only for a brief moment and then they break apart very quickly, or in passing to give the illusion that they're close and things like that. You know, and then Jerry Brabeck is the music director. And so having to conduct rehearsals and keep everybody far apart. Usually when you're rehearsing for a show, you have all of your singers right there together, sitting next to each other so that they can hear and harmonize and all of that. Well, no, they have to sit far apart from each other. And so everything has been super different. It's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful experience, but super different.
Sure. Absolutely. Yes. When you start thinking about all the different people that play a role and how each of them has to adjust, it's really a huge undertaking for all of you guys to make this happen. And we're so grateful that you guys are, because we're very excited about this show. So can you tell me a little bit about the play itself? What made you excited about directing this show, and maybe what you're excited to see on stage?
Well, I've never directed a children's play. I've done workshops for young people, but I've never directed a play. And I've certainly never directed sea creatures. So it was a challenge all the way around. And so I was just excited to see how these sea creatures, and they, oh my goodness, the set, everything from the set to the costumes to the lighting, it's just all so beautiful. And to see it, just to see these creatures actually take on human form, if you will, has been a really good learning process for me. And just trying to stay in that vein of, yes, they're sea creatures for the purposes of the play, but they all have feelings, they all have emotions, they all have intention, you know. And so that's been a new, did I answer your question? I think
Yes,
I did. I'm not
absolutely.
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, definitely. You're that the challenge was something that excited you about taking it on, but also it sounds like the entire experience, not just the play, but the set and the lights and the costumes is what's exciting you most about seeing it all together.
Yeah, and I can't leave out the amazing job that Lisa, our stage manager, is doing. It's even different for her because, for example, if we're working with props and we're working with different pieces from the show, well, if one person touches it, she has to clean it and sanitize it before another actor can touch it. Or if I sit in a seat or at a table and I get up and someone else wants to come and sit there, she has to clean and sanitize to get it ready just that quick. So Lisa has to be super on her toes at all times. And she's doing a great job.
Sure.
Great.
Oh, that's such a
Yeah.
great shout out. Stage managers definitely don't get enough praise, and
Right.
Lisa is our resident stage manager. She's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to just like kind of give just a really brief overview of what kind of a stage manager does to help the director during this time?
What she does is she communicates with me daily. She sends out production notes every single night. She keeps in close contact with me. If anything shifts, especially in this COVID time that we're living in, if something happens with an ensemble member, if there is a change in the rehearsal space, she's communicating all of that to me all throughout the day, first thing in the morning, sometimes into the evening. For the purposes of the actual rehearsal, she is taking notes. She is keeping me on track with time to make sure that the actors get breaks at specific times. She is taking down all of our needs. If somebody runs into something, hey, this is uncomfortable, I need this, I need that, Lisa is on all of that and communicating all of that information to the production team on a daily basis. If we need to make any changes, because Matt, of course, is the playwright, and Trudy is, of course, the composer. If there are changes that are needed to the script or changes that are needed to the music or wording in the music, and we want to take different liberties with that, Lisa is communicating all of that back and forth. So yeah, she has
Yeah.
a huge job.
Absolutely, a huge job normally, and then
Yeah.
especially with the extra COVID things for sure. And any of our
Hmm.
listeners who heard the last podcast that we did are familiar with Matt and Trudy because they had a lovely sit down with me talking about writing the show. So
Yeah.
those should hopefully be some familiar names out there. Um, but yeah, so you guys are actually rehearsing in our brand new youth artist studios. And how has it been being out in that brand new space?
It is wonderful. That space, I mean, I walked through there, I was like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. I ended up having to, they were working on the front restroom and I had to walk to the back of the building. I lost count of the different studios that I was walking by. I mean, what a wonderful facility for the Rose and for the community and for classes, and it's beautiful on top of that. But yeah, it's a amazing space. Now I got to tell you, I love the downtown location. I love the character. I love the location. I love the vibe of the space. So they are two very different spaces with very similar intentions. So you'll get two totally different vibes and feelings when you walk into the different spaces, but both of them are gorgeous.
Absolutely, yes. We're super excited to be having classes this fall in that new studio, socially distanced, hand sanitizer, masks required, a lot like rehearsals are happening with you right now. We're
Yeah.
so excited to have kids in that space, but we're also so glad that there's so much more space and opportunity for rehearsals like yours.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me just a little bit? I don't know that all of our listeners really know kind of what a timeline is for a show at the Rose. How long have you guys been rehearsing? How much time do you guys kind of get to put it all together?
We are in our third week of rehearsal and we actually go into tech next week. So
Okay.
it's been a very quick process, but it's my understanding that it's actually a week longer than the Rose rehearsals actually get with
Yes.
the other shows. So I'm kind of excited that that happened for the show I'm directing. But the design team comes in on Monday, and then we go into tech on Tuesday, and it is scheduled to open the following week.
Right. Yes, September 11th, opening night. And we are very excited for that, of course. But so does Tech Week, when you say Tech Week, does that mean you guys are in stage in the building downtown with costumes, or does that just mean, what does that mean exactly? When do you guys start adding those elements?
Yeah, we will be downtown on the stage in costumes. And for me, once it goes into Tech Week, It is less about the ensemble and me as the director, and it's more about the production team and the production team having that opportunity to work out everything that they need to work out. And then in those last couple of days, just letting it all gel together. But yeah, we actually go into the space. Not next week, but the following week.
Sure, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yes, back on the stage. Um,
Yes.
yeah, very exciting. We at the building here, which is very few of us. Most of us are working from home, but the few that are here have kind of been sneaking a peek in there every now and then, watching that set get built. And you're right, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. We're very, very excited about it. But yeah, so and then after Tech Week happens, what happens as a director once the show opens? What's your involvement? Do you get to sit back and relax? Are you still involved in any way?
Well, I get to sit back and relax a little bit. I still will be coming to see the shows. I don't know that I'll be at every single performance, but I will be coming in to see the shows. And if for any reason brush ups are needed, those will happen the night before the next weekend set of shows. And sometimes you need to do that in the beginning while the show is still settling on the stage. But after a couple of pickup rehearsals, what I find is that they're not needed. After you get through opening weekend and then you get to that next weekend. And usually, once you get through that second weekend, the cast is pretty settled and can handle it. But if at any time, whether I'm there or not, if at any time I get a call from a cast member or from Lisa as the stage manager, hey, Kathy, some things just need to be tightened up. We all know that we come back in and get those pickup rehearsals done. Once the show opens, the show really belongs to the stage manager. So the director carries it all the way up to opening. And then once that show opening opens, I kind of got to let it go. I got to relinquish it.
Sure, let it fly, be
I got
free.
to let it fly.
No, yeah, that's awesome. And then one thing that is actually very different this year from any other year that we've ever done is that the show is going to be recorded.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to
Yeah.
have a production team there to film during Tech Week. And are you excited about that process? Have you gotten any chances to talk to any of those guys about how that filming is going to go? Or
No, no, I haven't had that opportunity yet. I am very excited about it because every show that I direct, it's completely different. The experience is completely different. And I'm always afforded opportunities to learn and grow. And so now with the show being recorded, it's just one more opportunity to learn and grow. And so I'm super excited about it. I really, really am.
that's so great. Yeah, so we've been talking here at the Rose about how, this is maybe not what we planned, but there's certainly a lot of learning to be done and silver linings to find, and we're really hopeful
Mhm.
that this ability to be able to do a digital show, maybe for family members that have people in the cast but just cannot make it out because they live out of town or have health concerns, they're going to have a way to see that show and support their family or support the Rose itself. So we're super excited to have this opportunity to do something digital. So yeah, we're very excited. Is there anything that you want to say, like anything that we haven't covered that is exciting or unique about this show that you want to make sure gets in here?
Just that the cast is doing an awesome job. I think this is going to be a wonderful experience for parents as well as young people. We keep comparing it to some of your shows like Finding Nemo or Daddy Daycare, and you have these little nuances and jokes and lines that deliver completely different to the children than they do to the parents. And I think Matt did a wonderful job of that with this show. All appropriate, all appropriate. Let me throw that out there. But I think he did a wonderful job with that, as did Trudy with the composition of the music. And so I'm just excited for everyone to experience it, whether they're doing it online by purchasing tickets online, or if we're able to be in person and experience it together in person.
All right. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for taking a few moments to talk with us about this awesome show. Everyone listening, if you haven't gotten your tickets to Penguin Problems, you can go to www.rosetheater.org and you can pick up your tickets online there, or you can go and call us at 402 345 4849, and we are happy to assist you over the phone as well. Thank you again, Kathy. We so look forward to seeing your show.
Oh, thank you for having me, and you take care.